Simon Curry, you be careful in that treehouse. It's okay, Ma. I know this treehouse like the back of my hand. I can even walk it with my eyes closed. Watch. Like a cartoon coyote, Billy ran out a cliff. My best friend Billy. You realize if you look up when everyone else is looking down, you'll be the first person to see the light. My best friend Billy taught me that in 5.3 seconds when he fell 9.5 feet off of our treehouse. Billy, Joey, Peter, Daryl, and I, the Apollo Road gang, hovered around him as he came to, dusted himself off, and looked up at us. The next sentence out of Billy's mouth created neighborhood legend. I need to fix that. Then he stuck out his foot and gave our neighborhood's version of the high five, the low toe, up, down, left, right. Because on Apollo Road, that meant everything was okay.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters.
Have you met a 7-year-old who thought that anything was possible? Most of them think they do, but Billy knew it. The next time I saw Billy at the treehouse, he was carrying a shoebox. What's that, Billy? It's a gravity machine. It'll stop us from falling out of trees. Watch. Billy put the shoebox at the base of the tree, scampered up it, closed his eyes, and started walking around the treehouse. He didn't fall this time. The shoebox worked. To this day, Billy and I have never fallen out of another tree. Ever. We built other shoebox machines. You just put items in the box that would make your thoughts come true. Could be sponges, rubber bands, pineapple upside down cake. It didn't matter as long as you believed. Our friends started making requests. Pete Haydock got a bike with a shoebox. We kept the monsters from underneath Daryl Minigala's bed with a shoebox. Johnny Levenhagen never caught cooties because of a shoebox. Pretty soon all the Apollo Road kids were running around with shoeboxes in their backpacks. The kids from our neighborhood, at age 7, a bright, bubbly, blue-eyed boy named Billy taught me what many adults seem to forget. We set goals with a shoebox and willed them to come true. The kids from our neighborhood, we didn't think anything was possible. Because of Billy, we knew it. Then halfway through the 2nd grade, Billy became real sick. My doctors kept making me take tests with my blood. I don't know how to study for those. Soon after, a teacher told us, Billy has a rare form of cancer. I went rushing home to my mom. Mom, what's cancer? What's cancer? I was excited. I thought anything that Billy had to be great. Imagine my surprise when my mom told me that Billy had a nasty disease that was going to make him lose all his hair and get real skinny. She cried as she told me this. But I didn't cry, because I was 7 years old. My best friend Billy was in trouble. And I needed to fix that. Naturally, I grabbed a shoebox and started to build a cancer-curing machine. I heard my mom say one time that the problem with skinny people is they didn't eat enough chocolate. So I grabbed 16 and a half pieces of chocolate and threw it in the box. Well, it was 17, but I was hungry, so I had half a piece myself. Then I went racing down to my barber, Bob. I said, Barber Bob, can you please shave my head and put it in this box? Because we're going to cure Billy of cancer. His eyes watered as he shaved my head, but I left with hair in hand. I didn't know at the time it would be permanent. I was in position to zap the cancer. All I needed was a magic rock from the old Pertlewitz place. I worked that rock with my lime green crayons until it glowed green. I had just created kryptonite. Because if that could take down Superman, then cancer didn't have a chance. My shoebox machine was ready. My dad pulled me aside and sat me down. He said, son, I want you to tell you that the doctors tell us that Billy isn't doing so well. Now, I didn't know much about cancer, but I know it made adults seem to forget things. Because my dad and the doctors didn't realize that anything was possible. And they didn't know the power of my shoebox machine. The next day I got to see Billy. I'd never seen my friend like this. His face drawn, eyes empty. His tears dripped like dreams down his face. I almost didn't recognize him. But then out from under the sheet came his foot to give me the low toe. Up, down, left, right. On Apollo Road, that meant Billy was going to be okay. I showed him the shoebox. I said, Billy, I built a cancer curing machine. We're going to make you well. That is so cool. The eyes that were empty moments before, now Billy was beaming. That day we talked about the future for the first time in 2 weeks. About building a second story in the treehouse and adding a tire swing. Naturally, the shoebox worked. Doctors said his recovery was a miracle. There was no miracle. Billy and I set a goal, cure Billy's cancer. We expressed it with a shoebox and willed it to come true. That leads to 3 questions. How many trees do you have left to climb? What do you need to fix? And what would you put in your shoebox?
I love that story. You can make me cry with both your speeches, which is quite an accomplishment. I will let Darren help you with what will take this to the whole next level, which is being more strategic with your movement and your body language. You are still having a tendency to give a great line and step backwards, and to deliver a great line and let the hands go down. That, watch for it, and then you will see.
I recognized it when I was standing there today.
Because, for example, in real life, if Billy fell out the treehouse, you'd be looking down. What you actually did was walk back in the treehouse. Every kid would be almost falling out looking to see what happened. In your original script, when you were talking about that, I didn't understand it. Now you made it clear I did understand it, and that was an important part as it came back later.
Ray, I told you God would understand it when she saw it.
Yeah, yeah.
It was Ray.
Now, don't hate to. What was it? The next time we met the treehouse. Don't have. Oh yes. Oh, and Darren's a master at helping you at this. When Billy came with the shoebox, the first time we're introduced to a magic shoebox, you don't have to ask him what it was, because he's going to tell you.
Okay.
And, very good, you put in here, you make other items rather than things. Now, nitpicky, Billy became really sick. He didn't come. He didn't become real sick. Now, L-Y belongs on a lot of these words, and I know real this and real that is becoming part of the normal vernacular. However, it is not correct, and we need you to be correct, because there might be some judge that English is an important part, and they will knock you off of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's in your script, however, you didn't deliver in dialogue. I couldn't believe what she told me. Billy has a nasty disease. Okay. It's in the script, but first thing. Okay. Then, now we changed in the script, but it takes a moment, it takes a while to incorporate. What you originally said and what you actually said this time was, the problem with skinny people is they don't eat enough chocolate, as my mother often told me. No. As Mom often said, trouble with skinny people is they don't eat enough chocolate cake. Because what she said is the impact phrase in the funny line.
Yeah. I knew I messed that up.
Yeah. In the script it says, I didn't know then it'd be perfect. Because that is a funny line. What you actually said was, at the time, it would be perfect. I didn't know then. It makes it clearer. And again, that is so cool. Great line, great scene. But your hands go down. It's like taking away the power. And that's good. Now, again, it's in the script, but it takes a while to incorporate. Now, tell us what you think is best. For the first time in weeks, we talked about the future. Compared to, we talked about the future for the first time in weeks. Time is a setup. Now you can really see time, 99% of the time, is better at the beginning, any unit of time. Because okay, like to make a toe. And at the end, when 3 questions, you need to stand forward, step forward, stand, and deliver the lines with the reverence that they need. It was almost like, oh, the speech is over the last 3 lines.
Okay.
This is a powerful speech. I mean, this is emotional. This is amazing. Every adult should learn having the hope and the faith of a 7-year-old. I loved it. So let Darren help you with some of the delivery. But this is a wonderful message. That's 2, very difficult to come at 2 great speeches.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, of course you can. If you could read my writing.
We've got some teardrops on it too, you can sell her.
Oh, yes!
Okay, for my thoughts, your thoughts. Quick, specific.
I'm not sure, but this kind of, I don't know, it did seem right to me. Right at the end, you told us you had three questions for us. I don't think we should set up, just go right into the 3 questions. Wouldn't that make more sense?
Yeah.
Rather than saying you
Yeah.
have 3 questions, something
Meaning,
like that.
I want you to milk the time and take your time with it. I don't want you to be hurried. So, yeah, not necessary. Just ask us. Yes, Lisa.
Perhaps nitpicky, but coming out of the healthcare field, I wondered why the doctors were talking to your dad.
Interesting.
Needs to be his.
Probably the second.
But keep in mind, it's going to be help,
Dad
so we need to
heard.
solve this.
Dad heard the doctors had said.
Yeah, Dad heard the doctors had said.
Yeah.
Done. Solved. Not a tangent. You got to get rid of tangents. Yes.
What I heard when you said top, down, left, right, I heard everything's going to be all right. I didn't hear, and then you said something a little different. I was like, oh, okay, that's good too. So I don't know if that rhyme thing would work. Just a thought. Top, down, left, right, everything is going to be all right.
Yeah, that could be the Apollo Street
Yeah.
gang symbol. Okay. Others?
Drop like greens is a great line.
Yeah, cheers.
Yes.
I thought the laugh lines were awesome and really strategic to break up what was a pretty tense speech.
Yep.
That was, when you came out and said, didn't know it was going to be permanent, I mean, that just,
And we needed
that excellent comic timing.
Brought me from down to up.
Yeah.
I needed that.
We need relief.
Kim?
This is a little nit when you were talking to Billy in the hospital and you stepped forward. You should have just leaned forward because he's in the bed and you said he was in the bed. So I had a little bit of a problem with your movement.
Was that
but
when I
think you'll see.
stepped
Yeah.
out to say it was permanent, or?
No,
Oh,
this
okay.
was when you were in the
Okay,
hospital
okay.
and he gave me the,
Go to tape.
Go to tape.
yeah,
But, yeah,
You'll
saying if
see
there's
it.
a bed there, just lean.
just lean forward.
And then we get it. Clarity, clarity, clarity. William, any thoughts? I'm just,
And actually, I'm going back to reflecting on the doctor and talking to your dad. If you were 7 years old, 30 years, say you're 39. I don't know how old you are.
Bless you.
But I don't know, were the HIPAA laws not the same back then? Would it have been? Because I can remember being a child and people talking to friends about things like that.
Yeah, I don't remember. There was no hippos back then.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's not impossible. If the doctors could have talked to his dad, over 50,
yeah,
60
but
years ago.
we're not going to have time,
No.
She had the
It's
thought
easy enough to
valid.
It's easy to fix.
Easy to fix, and then
Easy to
you
fix,
don't
move on.
worry about anything.
My original speech title of Ouch was Don't Chop Down Your Cherry Tree. As soon as I said the word cherry tree, what do you think of? What are you, stupid? I'm talking about Dr. Goddard's cherry tree. Didn't matter how clear, that was the natural thought. I had to drop cherry tree from my speech because it send people off on a tangent. Other thoughts? Okay. Loved the line, because I've read this a couple times, and he's been tweaking it, so I love the line, you will be the first person to see the light, early on. And I don't know if it was just because it was a new way of delivering it. Just before that, it got a little grainy. We need to make sure it's clear. What, and you had on here Apollo Road Kids, but you said gang.
Oh, okay.
Either way, I'm okay with it, but just bringing attention to that. Here's when Billy. What did you think of Billy's voice?
I don't remember that.
How do we do a kid voice?
Yeah, I just didn't like that kid voice. He just seemed, I don't know, a little. When you tell me he knew it, I think of a little kid with spunk and confidence.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the impression I get. So like Billy's like the smart kid that's confident and does anything and it happens. So to me, the voice just didn't fit the character.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's like, really? Of course it's going to work. Why wouldn't the shoebox
Yeah.
work? What's wrong with you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the attitude I get. And I don't know
That's
what
awesome.
Billy's really like. By the way, Billy is still alive, doing well, works for Nike. For what it's worth. When Billy's down on the ground, I wanted you to do this. I need to fix that. Point up to the tree.
Okay.
It would just make it that much clearer. Make sense? And I want to see you use the stage.
Yeah.
And I know you were still kind of reinforcing this, but I want to see you separate it. You know, have the, and I'm not exactly sure where yet at this point, but have the tree house on one side, the hospital on the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're using the stage, but it's used for purpose, on purpose. Now here's something that you changed that I didn't like at all.
Okay.
Is that the gravity machine, you waited till later on to tell us what was in it. And it didn't make sense to you. Because when in the original script, he said he made a gravity machine. And it was made out of sponges, rubber bands, and even pineapple upside down cake. Because Billy thought that if it's upside down,
Sponges float, rubber bands always snap back, and if the cake is upside down,
totally missed that.
you would be right side up, because on TV, Mr. Spock said there's total balance in the universe.
And I was wondering what was in that box.
it's okay, you tested it.
I tested it.
Tested it. Yeah,
It
don't
said-
make that the excuse, though, from here on to the contest.
Okay.
But I get that. And so if you two, want to continue to send versions to me, not every day, but if you want to, I want you to do that, okay? And I'll get back to you as often as I can. It may not always be that day. So just FYI. Was there a hand up? Yeah, Kim.
Yeah, when you're talking about the other shoebox then, since we're talking about shoeboxes, coming from a hairdressing background, when you put the chocolate in the shoebox, then you said you shaved your head and you went with the hair in your hand.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking,
Oh.
well, you wouldn't want to put the hair in the shoebox with the chocolate, because then you couldn't eat the chocolate. So, but it's a machine, right?
Yeah, it wasn't there to eat.
Okay.
Well, but you said you went
But
you
it's
brought
too
the
skinny.
box to the barber,
Yeah.
and then you walked home with it in hand.
Okay.
The
See the
box
problem?
in hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have thought you were
Bag
so
full of hair.
excited you put the hair right in the box.
Okay.
And you carried the box home.
I
Okay.
did too, because he said hair in hand. I went to the hospital, so I was like, clear where the hair was.
As soon as I got the hair, right in the box.
In the box.
It's where it belongs.
And there wasn't there one other thing in there with the hair? The kryptonite.
Kryptonite.
Okay.
That keeps the hair out of the coffee, the chocolate.
That's the other point I raised the two.
I have a question of you, the master. Because you introduced the idea, which we really do want to know. Billy certainly was in remission, but did he live forever?
Yes.
The question
Nobody lives forever, only your words.
Oh.
Is he still alive and well now? Would you want to then bring back for the last three questions Billy? Do you say, if Billy were here, and he is a successful, what is his job?
He's an executive with Nike.
Okay. If Billy were here, he is now an executive with Nike, he would ask you, what trees do you have to? So we could know the end of the story, which is Billy alive and well, which reinforces the power of believing is a long-term fix, not a short-term, and he can ask the question.
You know why Nike's successful? They got a lot of shoe boxes. I just thought of it.
That is perfect. Billy still believes in the power of the shoebox. He is now an executive with Nike. And if he'd here, he'd ask you, Yeah.
We
That's
just have to be,
great.
we have to be clear that it doesn't sound too unrealistic
Yeah.
though. We have to have a line that says, the serious truth is right now, Billy is an executive with Nike. So why is Nike so successful? A lot of shoe boxes.
Then,
You just have to be careful how we
Maybe.
word it.
maybe you just want one question. You want one question, something to do with the shoebox. If we bring back Nike, because wouldn't you agree you want to know if he's still alive?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want to answer that before the speech.
I was
Yeah.
thinking, I wanted to know
Yeah.
before you got into it. I was
You know,
like,
I love Happy Ever After.
Are you still good friends with him?
I know him.
Would he be in the audience? Because that would be even better.
I will seriously doubt
Not that
that.
good of friends. Right?
Do you talk to him regularly?
Fairly. I mean, we're kind of, if we see each other, it's kind of like going back to the neighborhood, but we don't.
Okay, so here's what you gotta do. You gotta build a
Yeah.
shoebox with glue, brings you back together.
And Bill would say, just do it.
Oh, I get it.
It's late, it's been a long day.
I am a great believer if you have a star in a story that is going to be a signature story that is going to be with you a long time, I would challenge you to just call him and say, I want you to know about telling the stories.
Does he know you're writing the speech?
See, Billy's actually a combination of 4 different people.
Okay.
The guy who fell off the tree is my brother.
All right.
Billy did the first shoebox machine.
Okay.
But there's 2 other friends that really got into doing the shoebox machines, and Billy was the one with cancer. So he is a major part.
Okay.
But I had
Okay,
I put
got it.
those
Okay.
4
It's a
together.
principle called combining characters.
And the
Yes.
one thing that you did though is at the very beginning, you had your mom talking to Billy up in the tree. So for a while, I thought Billy.
No,
was,
Billy said mom. He didn't
Yeah,
say
mom,
his mom.
but I thought
You thought it was
it
my mom.
was your mom.
Yeah, I did
And
too.
because you later said it was your
What if,
treehouse.
what if he yelled down to, it's okay, Ray, I know the place. Then we get the mom out of there altogether.
That would probably solve it for me.
Yeah.
Play with it.
Yeah, because you're down there when he falls.
Yeah. Because the mom should be there if he fell. Yeah, no way, it's my story.
Okay. Punch word. Where's your cooties line? Said, Pete. I wouldn't even say, hey doc. I'd just say Pete. Pete got a bike. Do you think last name is enhanced or not? Pete, hey doc.
It's specificity.
It is.
It's like, these are
Also,
real
See what
kids,
Pete, Daryl,
there's
and then Johnny
backstory.
Levenhagen.
Yeah, I might do the last one. But it wouldn't be with a shoebox. In fact, a shoebox even kept Johnny Levenhagen from catching cooties. Okay, that's actually what you have written, but you actually
Yeah.
said, and Johnny Levenhagen catching cooties because of a shoebox.
Okay.
You have it written right. Okay.
What was in that shoebox?
Some things are better left unsaid. I like the line. I like the line. I was excited because if Billy had it, it had to be great. I love the innocence of that line.
Yeah.
That was great. And then here's something that I might